The children, they yearn for the mines, which is why today we are going to be doing a starting steps video for Perm. In this video, we will talk about why are we playing Perm and how to play Perm. We will be trying to achieve several major objectives, including getting to 150 construction, getting our SOL around 11 and joining a customs union, maximizing throughput on our iron mines in 2 places, doing some overseas expansion, specifically going for the MOSQUE of Jingoist, and also using the corn laws to reform our relatively backward government. So let's start off and just talk about, okay, why do we play as Perm? Why do we want the children in the mines? What's going on here? Okay, Perm, relative to their mining output, Perm has the most mining output relative to everything else they have going on out of any other start that I've been able to find. And they are just basically pure mines at the very start of the game. If we take a look at their buildings, for example, they have a shipyard, they have 5 logging camps, 3 fishing wharves, 0 farms, and 12 iron mines. But that's not all. We also have these absolute, probably top 5, top 10 most mineable resource states in both Perm and Ural, which both have the Ural mountain range modifier, which gives 20% iron mines building throughput, which is a relatively rare modifier to see. There's only 6 other state modifiers that give 20% iron mines building throughput, although they apply to more than just 6 states. And so this is, just off the bat, is extraordinarily strong. But let's just take a look at their potentials. You know, we have 75 iron mines, 80 iron mines, 96 iron mines, 84 coal mines, 81 lead mines. We have basically all the mining we want except for sulfur, which we, I think, have none of, which is a bit unfortunate, but is going to be something we resolve in our early expansion. And notably, also, oil will appear here in Perm. Perm is very, very strong. And so this is kind of what's going on. And so if you wanted to do a very mining-focused run, and perhaps even, like, emphasize mining at the expense of, like, the normal sort of tooling workshop start, instead you go a mine-focused start, Perm is a very interesting country to play. Perm also notably is unrecognized, even though they were released from Russia, which gives its own challenges. So if you want a challenging, really mine-focused country to play, Perm is the one for you. And so this is maybe why to play Perm. And so let's get started and talk about, well, what's going on in our government. So we start out with all of Russia's laws, I believe, which are relatively repressive. We have all of kind of the stuff that supports the landowners the most. If you wanted to get the absolute perfect start, you would reroll until your landowner IG leader is a Jingoist, not a moderate, but we're not too worried about that. And specifically what we're going to try and get off of is traditionalism, mercantilism, and serfdom, because these are particularly painful. Also, you'll notice at the start, we start with negative bureaucracy with a huge tax waste, which is very uncomfortable. We're going to try and get out from under that, but something that'll help for that is specifically free trade is going to allow us to really, you know, free up a lot of bureaucracy. But in order to get these 3 swapped, we are going to use the corn laws event chain in the journal entry. So you see right now, if we come in here, we see this guy is a moderate, which means he doesn't really support or hate anything. He has no lines drawn in the sand, so perhaps a royalist is a better example, where they will endorse monarchy and this will override the rural folks' normal opinions. What you get from going corn laws is you get someone who is a market liberal eventually through the event chain, and this helps a lot for reforming the economy. So in order to spike this, you need to have the landowners in government. I think they might need to be powerful, and you just click export grain focus on that, and that will give us the start of the corn laws as soon as we unpause. Let's actually just unpause so you can see it. And corn laws. This will give us a bunch of negative events as well as eventually one positive one. Now let's handle our diplomacy, which is, we can't do anything. If I recall correctly, there's like nobody that we can do with, but what we're going to do is we're going to declare an interest in Indonesia, and we're going to talk about that later. Now let's come in and spend our authority and balance our budget how we want it. So what we are going to want to do is we're going to want to tax a lot so that we can build a lot. We're going to put in several consumption taxes, but before we do, we want to spend the authority, the rest of the authority that we want, so we know exactly how much we have available to spend on consumption taxes. We're going to bolster the industrialists, but we are not going to bolster the intelligentsia. We are not going to really need them that early. They'll get strong on their own. This is fine. We will come into the lens for the political lens and go to decrees, and we are going to do something I don't do on very many runs. We're going to increase resource industry in Perm and Ural, and we are really trying to abuse early game, building up really strong iron mines in order to make construction very cheap for us and also to export the iron, this type of stuff. We're going to be an iron economy, a child mining economy, I mean less so a tool economy, but an iron economy. We will encourage manufacturing in Tobolsk as well, to hopefully encourage the auto queue to build, you know, mining and, or not mining, to build our stuff here that is not, that is manufacturing oriented, because this is one of our few provinces that does not have a negative state construction efficiency modifier. We come here, negative state construction efficiency, 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 and then here we have a couple that don't have it, but you get the idea, right? Negative state construction efficiency. And so we're going to try and encourage manufacturing there, and we see we have 500 authority left over. We can of course do the authority trick to get a little bit over that, and we have 500 to work with, and we're going to tax services, we're going to tax liquor, we're focusing on sin taxes and luxury taxes because we generally want to tax the upper rung pops more, and then we'll bring that down, and this is kind of what we have in place in regards to that. We see about how much construction we can afford, and now Perm is a very interesting one. I think that, so I think you should start out, you know, at the very beginning on with some wooden buildings. You kind of expand these out and then you swap them over slowly, piecemeal to iron frame buildings. But we have basically no demand for iron, and we have 12 iron mines. So we're going to go straight away into turning on our construction sectors to be using iron frame buildings, because this is what we have too much iron. And of course, we actually have tool problems, so we're going to come into these PMs and we're going to switch off sawmills. Unfortunately, we will have to resolve the tool mills. We'll switch these to fishing wharves because we do produce some boats, and then we are going to need to trade to resolve a lot of our problems, because if you take a look, we basically have no goods, but the problem is trade takes bureaucracy and we have no bureaucracy. So after we finish these first two construction centers, we're going to build probably 3 government administrations. Let's build 2. We'll reevaluate as we come to it. And so that's kind of the authority handled, the construction queue handled, and the income stuff handled. And now we will come in and take a look at the research and talk about what we want to research. So we are going to be, since we are, you know, putting the children in the mines, we of course are going to want dynamite there. We're going to want nitroglycerin. We're going to want all these mining-oriented things. But we will first take a look. We see that lathe is not spreading because the lathe is the only tier 1 tech remaining. And we're going to check if stock exchange is not spreading. If stock exchange is not spreading, we would let it spread. Since it is not natural spreading to us, we're going to go stock exchange first, because we want that tasty free trade, because we want to send our iron everywhere. Then we will come back to lathe and go into atmospheric engine, and then either go mechanical tools or straight to water tube boiler. Mechanical tools is a good shout because we do want railroads relatively early, because we have some infrastructure problems, specifically where we're building mines. But we don't hate getting water tube boiler early because condensing pump engine is quite strong as well. So this is what we will be doing in the tech. And then after we get railways, we will probably be looking to maybe get egalitarianism. We're not that far off of it, as well as also, you know, pushing for nitroglycerin, because we are the people of the mines. And then before the end of the episode, we're hoping to get mechanized workshops, mainly for the 10% economy of scale building level cap, so that we can, you know, fully exploit the mines. And so this is the plan for the episode. This is the way we're going to be going, or this is actually just the start. Let's just continue on our way and get into it. And so we declared an interest over here. We're going to need a general, and we're going to need some boats, or an admiral. So we do have our interest activated now, and what we are going to do is we are going to conquer Brunei. Brunei is going to give us a couple things. First of all, most importantly, we don't have any sulfur. They have sulfur. This is nice. They also have iron mines. Also nice. They are adjacent to Lanfang, which is a member of Great Qing's market, so this will allow us to land trade with Great Qing using fewer convoys, which is also nice. They're a great trade partner early, and so we're going to go after them. We're just going to look to conquer Brunei, and this is why we declared an interest in Indonesia first. And also, once we conquer North Borneo, yes, or even actually once we declare on them, we can forget about this interest and we can move it on over to the Middle East, where we will be looking to do other things. Once we have a single state here in Brunei, we will have a native interest, so we won't need to do anything to maintain our interest here. And so because of this, what we will expand more here, but we don't need to use our single interest that we can declare here. Now, we are still making money, but we're about to finish this other construction center. So after that, the money making is probably going to go a bye-bye. We will do our little bit of landing here, and we're going to come in here. Next up is going to be going for Bahrain. Bahrain eventually has a ton of oil, but will also give us a native interest here. We are trying to get native interest in a couple of spots, both so we can trade and this sort of stuff, but also because we're going to want to colonize early. Let them cook. Okay, I didn't even read that. But coming back to here, we forgot to pass our first law. We are going to go for colonization first. This is why, by the way, as I mentioned, you would prefer to have this guy be a Jingoist, because he will pass colonial affairs more often, but we'll go colonial exploitation here. And so we are wanting to get native interests here and here so we can expand in these places without needing to have an interest there, so we can put an interest over here so we can try and go for Eastern Mali, which is going to have the Mosque of Jinneh unique building, which is quite strong. Now, if you do have a Jingoist, you're going to not want to start the coin laws until after you get colonial exploitation, but since we don't have this, we're going to go straight for colonial exploitation. Hopefully we get lucky. If we don't get lucky, we're probably going to do economic reforms first. Ethics of exploitation is morally correct. I mean, we are staying on child labor allowed. The children go to the mines. We exploit everyone. Big happy. And we see that, well, it didn't work out well. So we'll try for resettlement. We'll probably get 1 tick. Just kidding, we're not going to get a tick. So this is the essence of the corn laws. This is what's important about the corn laws. If we take a look at the landowners, and we take a look at, you know, kind of how they feel about things, they love traditionalism. They hate laissez-faire. They hate free trade. They like protectionism and mercantilism. Meh, this sort of stuff. They love serfdom. Where's that? Where's their love of serfdom? Paternalistic? We'll take my word for it. They love serfdom. Now, we're going to do a new leader for the age. See, this guy's a moderate? Ah, he's no longer moderate. Now we have a market liberal who is going to love laissez-faire, he's going to love free trade, and he's going to love serfdom abolished. And this overrides all the native kind of attitudes of the landowners. So what we will do is, instead of trying to pass this, yuck, we are going to just abolish serfdom very quick and just get rid of it. This is the advantage of the corn laws. We will, of course, now that we have gotten what we wanted from the corn laws, we are going to protect the domestic supply of grain and do this. Now, once this second government administration finishes, we of course ended the corn laws. Once the second government administration finishes, we will import paper from someone and turn up the PMs. We also look to improve relations, specifically with Great Britain and France. We don't want them sticking their finger in our pie, and I think we'll just float this extra authority for now, just in case someone wants to offer us a trade agreement. Now, we have, whoop, our Navy boyo died. Unfortunate. So we'll recruit a new Navy boyo. We won't tell you what happened to the last guy. And we'll try and navally land Brunei again. They are not cooperating in their destruction. And after we finish this, we might want to put in the queue a tooling workshop. We hope the auto cube puts that here. This is kind of why we encouraged manufacturing here, even though there's nothing to encourage. The AI will think it's more valuable. And here we're going to get this landing off. Bada bing, bada boom. We landed you, and we secured ourselves a little bit of sulfur for the beginning, as well as, you know, an ability to trade with Great Qing, who is having problems, as they often do. We abolished serfdom, big happy, and we're going to now get off of traditionalism. Now, we are going to go interventionism first. I think once you have maybe, I think the number's quite low. Eventually, laissez-faire is just better, but we will want a little bit more control of the queue. At first, we're going to just go interventionism, and we're probably going to swap over to the next one pretty quick. But laissez-faire, interventionism gives you control of 50% of the queue, laissez-faire only 25%, traditionalism 75%, but it has booty investment pool contribution, which is something we care about. We enforce here. We are going to check that they have a port. They do. We see that they're producing a dye plantation. We're going to nuke it, mainly because they have turmoil, which gives negative state construction efficiency, and so we do not quite want to build that there yet. But now we will come and we will declare our war on Bahrain. We will take a little bit of a save first, because we don't like great powers putting their finger in our pie, which they often want to do. This is also notably why we're not vassalizing these guys. Vassalizing is a little bit better in some sense, because they get 5 free construction, and so you can utilize this construction. Is especially strong when you have very little construction, but we are not doing it because we don't want great powers to put their finger in our pie. We see that we are doing kind of decent on the money, so we will put in another construction center here. And after that, we will probably need to actually build some tools. But as soon as this finishes, now we are going to import some paper. We can't import paper because we have no demand for it, because that's how this game works. But now we have demand for it. Bada bing, bada boom. And we will go for some paper. Zoom, zoom. Let's go. Let's import paper. Now, we would prefer to get into the British market. We'll settle for the Russian market. We are mainly looking to siphon off pops, but we're going to import from... Actually, we don't want to use a lot of convoys. We're going to import from the British, though, for now, which, of course, nukes our bureaucracy a little bit. And we might want to export the iron. Let's just come in here and put encourage exports on iron, which hopefully the AI takes the hint and takes some iron from us, because we are producing a ton of it. Notably, our place is probably not fully employed yet, not even close. And so hopefully more people come on in. We do get ourselves a war, and we will, of course, win this war quite handily. And we will also come in here and switch our declared interest, and we can declare another interest now that the war is popped, and we're going to declare it over here because we are going to go for Montenegro, which is going to give us, okay, it's a little bit of lead, but mainly we're looking for the adjacency to Austria because we might want to join Austria's market, and we'll be able to do a large volume of trade with them without needing to build very many convoys because we will be adjacent to them in the market. Now, we could vassalize Montenegro. I'm not sure if they come after us. Montenegro is recognized, so I think they don't try and go after Montenegro as much in terms of the AI, so we will go for the vassalization there and hope we don't get clapped as on the basis of it. Okay, so now we got this, we got that. These are the really big ones. We will want to go Laissez, Faire soon, but for now, I think we're going to try and see professional armies. Also, notably, if we had a Jingoist landowner early on, you can go professional armies first, and then colonial affairs, and then you come on back and do the corn laws and do all this stuff. But I think that... I guess we're just going to try for colonial resettlement, with the idea of eventually going exploitation, something like this. And we, of course, are running bureaucracy problems. Man, oh man, do we have a ton of money. This is because the investment pool is picking up that slack. I think, so we don't quite have as much money as it looks like. I think we're going to put a tooling workshop here, though. And we are going to put it on auto expand because we are going to need a lot of tools. Of course, wrought iron tools is the way to go, and we will continue with that. Now, we've already occupied them down here, so things are progressing along quite a lot. We're actually making a decent amount of money. Maybe we could add another construction center. We're focusing them on Perm because we're trying to build tall here in Perm first. And this will also give us some state construction efficiency to try and override this, because it is given to us by our construction centers. If you take a look, this is giving us a 1.5% state construction efficiency, what we got here. And now we can declare our war. Let's take a little bit of a save. We don't like great fingers in our... Wait. We don't like great fingers in our power. No, we don't like great powers putting their finger in our pie. Almost said something else there. And so we're just going to vassalize these guys. We don't need to worry about the infamy too much here, which is what we've been doing. And we will also put in war reparations, and then we will make war reps primary because we want some money. And we will put open market just to try and make them more likely to back down here. And so that'll be good. Positive outcome towards colonial resettlement. Let's see. I think after this, we actually do just want another government administration. We unfortunately are having a paper shortage. A little awkward. We are also having a mining shortage. Very awkward. I think we'll actually just bite the bullet and import some of these because we need them for the mines. We will import them from the British, whom we have an adjacency with, and we would like to get into their market. So we get a war with Montenegro now, and we will, of course, land here. And we will declare our other... there's not really another soft spot we want to have an interest in, although we could go for, like, you know, Makran and just having an interest here. Maybe this is actually worth it. Let's go for this one next. And we are just notably creating interests in areas so that when we only have one declarable interest, we're creating native interest in a bunch of areas we might want to expand. And so this will help us kind of later on actually facilitate that expansion while being able to put that interest where we want to colonize. Now, Makran... I think we can land this. Not sure. Oppo members put forth demands, and we get stock exchange. Big nice. We are going to come off of this, and so we will choose the compromises for the week, and we will just switch to not mercantilism, but free trade, which is going to allow us to run trade routes for much cheaper, which is going to help a lot. We might not even need bureaucracy. Now, this tobacco is a little wacky. We already have a bunch of progress on it, but we don't want to finish it because it is in a place that is in the crucial coast here, and so it is in a place that has a bit of turmoil, and so it has negative construction efficiency modifier, so that's not ideal. This will actually be like the most profitable tooling workshop ever, by the way, because our demand for it is incredibly high. We are going to enforce on them. Then we're going to go into Makran. Makran's going to have the least valuable in terms of giving us a market adjacency or like region that we can kind of deal with, but it will be something. So we're going to come in and we will hope that no great power sticks their finger in our pie. I almost said put their pie in our finger, which would be even more uncomfortable. But we will just come in here and we will just annex them because they are unrecognized. And my intuition or my understanding is man, do great powers really liked going after your unrecognized fingers and pies. Okay, so we'll come after them there. And I see that we are kind of floating a little bit of extra money. I think we can add a construction center here, and we get free trade, which is big nice, which is going to help, you know, all this jazz. Now we will come back and we will try and do colonial exploitation now. Seek Empire, you're having a bit of a time. I don't think, yeah, we can't add other war goals. We are draining the money pretty quick here, but once this government administration finishes, I think we will be able to export iron or something like this. Let's take a look at the diplomacy, what we can maybe do. Make sure Russia's not mad at us. We don't want Daddy to be mad at us. We'll also take a look in terms of maybe we can join a market. Joining a customs union would help resolve the fact that we have very few industries, and it would allow us to just kind of focus on our iron, focus on our business. But it doesn't look like, or wait, that's the wrong one. We can't attempt to join anyone's customs union because no one's particularly happy with us. Okay, so what we will do is we'll just take a look around. What do you need, dear tooling workshop? You are auto-expanding. You need some wood. Well, we have good chops up here, and so we're over here. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to put one of these up, and we're going to put this on auto-expand, and we're going to put it on sawmills, and we're going to put this on auto-expand and also on sawmills, which is going to increase the demand for tools. I think we're not running a shortage of tools anymore, so I think we'll actually swap them all up to sawmills. Yeah, we're barely not running a shortage, but that's because we're importing a whole ton. We're importing at a loss, but we will swap up to sawmills here. And we will look to decrease taxes in the near future. And fishing trawlers. Yeah, go. Let's go, baby. I think we will want to go leaded glass relatively early. We don't have lathes yet. We're about to get it. And then we'll be on atmospheric engine. I think we will want mechanical tools, though. Bessemer process is nat spreading, which does encourage us to try to go to natural tools. We'll credit the industrialists, and we will give extra permissions for colonial exploitation to go faster. Vroom vroom. Now, I think we're fighting, yeah, we are fighting Makran, so we will try and land them here with our little 10 stack. The little 10 stack that could. We, of course, are trying to keep an eye on this construction queue. We have a few auto expansions. We're going to put this on auto expand as well, and we're going to add to it. We are also researching atmospheric engine pump, if I'm not mistaken, which we are going to need coal for. So we're going to build up the coal here. We're going to have this place specialize in coal more, and we're going to put it on auto expand, and as soon as the coal finishes, we'll turn this on for the coal and just try and build up a little bit of a coal base. We'll probably take the enactment chance. Yeah, we'll just take the flat enactment chance here. And now that also we have our war started in Makran, what we will do with our interest, we'll pull it off, and we'll instead put it here, and hopefully we can go into the route from Sulu into Futa Jallon into etc. Mostly etc. But the goal will be getting over to eastern Mali for the Mosque of DJENNE unique building. But also there's some opium there, so that's also pretty nice as well. We have our auto queue kind of set up in a few spots to do stuff. We are doing the wood here, we are doing the iron here, the coal here, and so hopefully this will be done. Prince's will be done, of course. and we get our front, we get a push, and we're going to enforce on them. We are just full annexing them. I believe they have a little bit of, yes, iron, and also lead, but we are mainly, that's not what we're here for. We are here for just kind of the native interest in this region. If we wanted to do some stuff, we're going to delete their barracks. We're going to make sure that we are deleting all the barracks. Yeah, North Borneo don't need you. I'm going to put these on irregulars. I'm going to switch all these to cargo ports. Maybe we should, wait, maybe we shouldn't have swapped to cargo ports. Actually, let's undo that. That's, I think, a bit of a mistake. Let's have these on anchorages. We are actually, we don't have that many trade routes in currently. They are profitable, and they are for things we have shortages of, but we are currently not running much routes. And we get this Persia interest now natively activated, so we can push into Kalat if we want to, if we're just looking for a little bit of a war speed. Hopefully we get colonial exploitation here. We get enthusiasm. The law isn't signed yet. Let's get that law signed. And we're going to need a bit more administration. Unfortunately, we're still running a paper problem, but, you know, one thing at a time. I think we did finish that coal mine, so we'll swap up this urban center to using gas streetlights. I think we'll swap them all. I don't think we have many. Yeah, we have one. Okay. Now, we do have glassworks, so we'll swap that up. And we do have leaded glass, so we will look to swap that up. So let's put lead at the front of the thing as well. And we get colonial exploitation, big happy, and we will come in here and we are colonizing Suzu because this will give us the fastest route into Futa Jallon, and we will want to expand this enough to get up to the next tier of thing. Having to come in a lot on these government administrations is particularly uncomfortable. Do we have insufficient tax capacity? We do in Perm, so this is actually going to be pretty good. We have been running a small arms deficit for forever, but we don't. If we solve it by importing, we're not going to actually make it so we have pay less money because we're going to have more of a tax problem, and so that's why we're not solving it currently. Let's put in a construction center over here instead of over there. And we do want this on auto expand. It is on auto expand. It's on wrought iron tools. I'm thinking that, yeah, mechanical tools is a little way off. Okay, we do have close to 100 authority, so we can do the authority trick. We'll come on up. We'll put in a consumption tax. We'll come back down, and we are just trying to maximize construction, really, truly. Kick that to the bottom of the queue, and we will put in another construction center here. We'll finish this lead mine, sure. And then we will swap up. Now, it is very important to note on all of these, and perhaps we didn't talk about it enough, we want to get them onto being privately owned. And so getting the privately owned PMs is particularly useful because then they are owned by capitalists. Now, capitalists contribute more to the investment pool relative to shopkeepers, which is why you want to get all your PMs over, and is why Laissez is so good early on. But this is why we really want atmospheric engine pump, because this will be swapping all of our guys over to privately owned. We didn't rush it though because we did want trading because we have this problem and the fact that we have a really weird lopsided economy. Now let's see if we can export iron anywhere. Oh boy, we can. What's super productive? The French. I mean, we could. We would not mind joining the French market. Let's just take a look around. Great Britain would say yes. Why can't we? Ah, because we have Montenegro as a subject, so we will probably have to annex them pretty quick here, if that's the case. I really hate that it's like that, because you can subjugate someone once you're already in customs union, but you can't customs union someone first. It's a silly thing, but, yeah. We do have Montenegro as a subject, so this is why. Just gotta wait the 5 years and then be able to declare war on them again. It's not too big a deal. Oop, I keep thinking we're Russia. We're not Russia, we're Perm. Where the miners go. Miners, not miners. Once this finishes, we're going to add another construction center. So we should be in good shape money-wise after this. And building on up, we're almost at 50, which feels really good. A lot of mining. The throughput here is, by the way, insane. We're at 47, so this is like, each one of these buildings is 1.47 buildings, which is absolutely wild. because we're both encouraging the resource industry and we're getting economies of scale throughput and the native bonus that we're getting in the Ural mountain range, which is quite good. Now, we could start a little bit of a war. Let's start a little bit of a war. Let's take a save, and let's go for Kutai now. Kutai is another one that's pretty good to capture. We're actually, let's go for Sintang, because Sintang, we can get gold here, so we're just going to conquer state Sintang. And we have an adjacency here. Hopefully we get no fingers in our pie. We will see how things go. But once we get another colonization into Futa Jallon, we will be conquering them, and then into Massina. And this will be the goal for that. The little government administrations that could. It's unfortunate we're having this paper problem, though. So maybe we actually want to build our own little paper over here where we are encouraging manufacturing. This way we can kind of help to resolve that problem. Just a little bit of conquest here and there. We are on pretty low infamy. If you're not using your infamy decay, you're losing it. Now let's take a look at tax. I think we're in good shape with our plan. I'm not sure if we need to go railroads. Let's take a look at the infrastructure in Perm. This is going to be the big driver, the infrastructure here and here. So we're 29 out of 60, so I think we can afford to go water tube boiler and then railways. And then once we have all this, I think we're going to come on over and maybe do egalitarianism. Maybe we just do egalitarianism next. I'd kind of like to get banking first. Banking will actually be decent for us. We'll see what the spreads looks like in terms of things. But we pick this up. We are going to hit it with our handy dandy smacky wacky button. Yeah, we're going to let you get the devastation. We're going to reset the PMs. Bam. Don't think they'll have too many buildings. Ooh, this is nice that they have this, and that they have the gold fields as well. So that's going to be pretty good for our economy. Now, what happened here? The auto queue is not building anything. Hard times make hard men get hard wood. No, that's the logging camps. We're going to do that. Now, we do notice that this is again close to 100. We'll come in here. We will put in a consumption tax, and we'll decrease it back down. Just trying to kind of pay for this. We really don't want to run a deficit here. And the reason why is you pay a ton of interest as an unrecognized state. And so I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to delete a construction center somewhere. And construction centers don't take a very long time to build, and we will slowly offload construction centers until we get out of this deficit, or until we're starting to dig out of the deficit, which is already here. Where are you building this? In Cariella? Okay, well, we're going to have a bunch of paper now. Generous donations. We will take them from France, because we want France to like us. And now we get atmospheric engine. Unfortunately, we don't have enough coal mines for this to really be too effective. So we're going to come in here. Do we have some iron mines over here that are smaller? No, we don't. We're actually going to put a bunch of coal at the front of the queue here. Or a couple. We need more to swap stuff over, I think. Let's swap over this one. It's going to use a ton of coal. I'm not sure if it's going to cause a shortage. It's going to barely cause a shortage, but it's going to get us in on atmospheric engine pump. The iron will be tremendous. An enormous amount of iron. Freedom to starve, you're telling me. They're super free to starve. We're going to increase the imports per level, and we are going to look to maybe export iron now. Because, man, it should be very cheap. Yeah, with this one route, we can export this huge chunk in amount, so we're going to do that. Which is going to make our iron mines more profitable. It will increase the price of construction. This is a downside. We see we're kind of doing painful in the authority there. And we're going to take a look at our colonization effort. We see that we're not making too much progress, but I think we're going to save and go for Kutai now. Again, we have a native interest from Brunei with our initial salvo. So we're just going to go in, we're going to conquer state Kutai. This is going to give us access, it's going to give us access eventually to oil, but also access to dyes and stuff like this, which is going to help our economy overall. We're going to let them get a devastation here. It's not a big deal to us. Sucks for them, I guess. And these are continuing to be profitable. Once this next one finishes, we put the new one in the back of the queue. We're going to turn it on here for atmospheric engine. Now, it's very important to note, these are merchant guild owned. Now, shopkeepers contribute 5% of their dividends income to other stuff. These guys will contribute 20%, so it's a big deal. 2 arms, And, oh no, we wanted the trade agreement with France. Let's take a look and see if we can still get it. Now, can we get it with other people too? Please say yes. Don't like that they're cautious. We are going to take the trade agreement with France, and this will help out quite a lot. And now that we're exporting all this iron to them, which will encourage a bunch of stuff, let's import paper from them and tools from them. That's not profitable. Tools might not be either. Let's import fabric from them if we can. That's not profitable. Let's take a look at the French market and see what we can do. France would be an okay customs union to join. We do want to get this up a little bit, but we'll see. Now, they have cheap iron, or they have expensive iron, not for long though. We can import coffee from them. We can import dyes, and ooh, we actually have some dyes in our market ourselves now, so we can actually turn this on, so that'll be good. We have an arms industry. We'll switch it to cannons, which will also be good. A little bit of a natural build there. We're going to switch on harvesting tools. And some of these. Switch all these to atmosphere. Well, no. We're going to switch these next. We did finish that mine, though, so we're going to switch that one. And we're in okay shape. How close are we to being able to join your market? 5. Super close. We're going to improve relations with Austria here. Notably, I think we can improve because we have this adjacency, and we can do trade because we have the adjacency. Let's see if we can import maybe from them. Well, we are looking to get cheaper fabric, so who could import us the most fabric? Kebab, it looks like. Decent amount from Russia. We are adjacent to the Ottoman market, of course, off this Montenegro, which is actually quite nice. So we're going to import from there, and we're going to import from Austrian, and well, this will take a little bit of that. We are going to need some more government administration. So we're going to put this in the back of the queue. I don't think it's super pressing. It probably is more pressing than I think. Let's put it in after this iron mine. And I feel like we're fighting a war, but I didn't do a landing. And there's a good reason for that, because that's exactly the case. Once we have this, we will have a little bit more in terms of what's really nice about taking Borneo, if you're like a European state, is they often will have a couple dye plantations. Kutai does have a dye plantation, they're building another, and this will be good. Consequences. Alright, we are trying to pull the SOL up. Actually, let's try and pass some laws here as well. Because our government, we are starting to trend a little bit more industrialist. It is a bit of a struggle though. The landowners are really sunk in deep like ticks. Let's try and go. Can we do this? Nope. This one? Nope, not really. Cultural exclusion will be kind of nice because we will be able to get European. So right now we can't get European immigration, but yeah, let's actually, we're gonna swap to cultural exclusion pretty early here because it's not too hard, and we want to. By enacting this, we will allow European migration, which is the big point of joining someone else's customs union to get some migration. Of course, our SOL is not high enough to like facilitate this. If we take a look here, we still have a decent amount of peasants. We have a good amount of gainfully employed, but we're going to get out from under the peasants relatively soon. Boost the industries further, brother. And I think we are coming up on mechanical tools reasonably soon, so we're going to put a steel mill in the thing so we can swap over. And we're going to use our handy dandy swappy button to reset the PMs here. Now we are going to check, do we have an adjacency yet with Futa Jallon? We do not. We are hoping for one. We get a ton of bureaucracy, so we're going to up this while we can. Are we getting a new bonus from... Where is this coming from? It's not from Kutai. Color me confused. Was it getting the... I'm not sure exactly what that was. Alright. So we are decaying, we're not decaying infamy currently. Let's take a look at Kalat. They have no military PMs, so this should be a little bit of an easy annex. Could also just vassalize them. I like vassalizing them a little bit because other great powers do not have like direct access to them, and we can just let them do their thing. But why don't we actually, we need to annex this before we can come on in and join someone's customs union. And this is one of the goals. We're trying to join a customs union because we're kind of trying to stop alpha pops. We're going to get rid of some consumption taxes here because we are floating a bunch of negative over there. And then we are going to want to put in more construction. We're going to put the construction center back down here. A lot of this, I think, is actually just cranking up because all of these are now way more profitable. Let's finish swapping over everything to atmospheric engine pump. Pump, 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 pump it up. Glad no one joined against us. No great powers, fingers, and pies. But now we will have no subjects, which is going to allow us to join customs union. I always forget about that one. It seems like something I should have mentioned at the start of the video, but here we are. So hopefully you've made it this far and haven't just vassalized a whole bunch of boyos thinking you could do something, thinking you could be somebody. Alright, Bessemer process is going to be good. Is one of the reasons why we went the tools so early, because we can make more profitable tooling workshops off the back of this. And we are going to, let's see if we can put in some trade routes here. Now, we're going to take a look at highlights. Of course, these are no longer profitable. We're going to take a look at highlights, and we're going to look at considerable import demand. We're going to import specifically agrarian stuff very aggressively. Now, French, we have a trade agreement with them, so we will be pretty pro importing from them. And then we would like to get a trade agreement with Austria or Qing. Would also be good, and so we're going to import from them. We're trying to use up this authority, and we're in particular focusing more of our imports on, well, that's right, we have so much hardwood, didn't even realize. Okay, we're going to export to the Russian market and the British market, and this will be very profitable. It'll make our businesses very profitable. I guess we can also export to the French. Again, trade agreement. We're trying to use up this and not use up too much convoys with what we're doing. And we could import some of this stuff. I think that maybe we want to import coal. No, we can make our own coal. So something like this. We get a successful naval invasion. Now we are going to want to try and get the SOL up a little bit more before we join a customs union, but we're pretty close to wanting to join a customs union here. And once we join a customs union, then we can subjugate people. Also, notably, they get 5 free construction for a while, so all of these extra buildings that have been built in the meantime are a result of, you know, vassalizing instead of straight up annexing. We'll delete some of these. Don't need those. We'll swap these over. Okay. Butchering tools, of course. Annex Montenegro. So we'll come in and use our slappy wappy button, our handy dandy, and reset the PMs there. So now we can join a customs union. We get goldfields depleted, unfortunate. But this means, as the children yearn, so they receive the mines, which we'll put at the front of the queue. Okay, so now we can probably join a customs union, and so now it's a matter of who do we want to join. I said now we could probably join a customs union. We can't, apparently, but we're just going to continue trying to ramp up our trade with these guys. We have a lot of excess bureaucracy. Maybe it's from... No, it's not from the petite bourgeoisie being happy with us. We notably can reform the government a little bit here. Let's actually do that. So let's reform the government, and let's try and, you know, liberalize a little bit here by switching off of this, and we're going to try and switch to landed voting, which is going to slowly wind down the power of these autocrats. Okay. We'll just continue along our merry way. We're improving relations. Let's check over here. We do not yet have an adjacency. Big sad. We are looking to get one. Since we can't join anyone's customs union direct, we have a ton of available infamy. We're going to just actually take Kalat, and this will give us 15 infamy. We're taking a save first, but this is just going to... I mean, it's not the best place, but we are... Otherwise, if we start another thing in Indonesia, we're actually going to decay below 0. Or we're going to decay and we're going to hit 0, and we're not going to utilize all the decay. But here we will at least be, you know, securing some degree of opium, which is going to be quite nice, as well as some resources. Some more mines, as it were. We unlock empiricism. So I think after mechanical tools, we will go banking into egalitarianism, because we are still on We're not even on per capita taxation here, and so we won't have to do the leapfrog back and forth. We will just be able to go straight up into proportional. In fact, we might actually just, let's leave the banking aside. We're just going to go ahead of time and look to push this faster, because this is going to take, it's not too long actually. Banking's not too bad. Well, actually it's not spreading, so we're going to go banking first and then egalitarianism. Now, with mechanical tools research, we can get more efficient tooling workshops by switching to steel. Unfortunately, we don't have the steel mills finished yet. Awkward. We'll kick those up a little bit. I'm going to push these guys in a bit. Ooh, wait, what? What? Awkward. I guess I should have taken a closer look. I think do we still win this? We have way more offense. They don't have very many guns, but we're in for a little bit of a struggle here. Now, we are gonna wind up quite a bit, and so I think we still win this, but oof. Big oof. They're gonna push us. No! Gold rush. Yes. Mine. It's all mine. Sins of the past? Yeah, power corrupts. It does. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. Oh no. Hopefully we get a few more fights here. We do get an offensive one with 2.8 into 15k, which is not what we signed up for. We are having quite a bit of a surplus here, so we're going to add another construction center. And actually, F it, let's add a couple barrackses, because we are struggling now with this. Anyways, we wouldn't mind having a 12 stacker. I think we still win this, but if things continue to go poorly, we won't. So it is going to recruit a few more guys. We can add one more construction center. We do have to be careful. We don't want to run a deficit. Yep, I forgot they could just conscript up a whole bunch. We do not want to give the landowners popularity, so we'll just take that. We are struggling here. Starting to get a little bit even. I guess we could increase the size of the military more. They are going to have, of course... Wait, why aren't you recruited? Wait, what? Have we just gotten wrecked so much? What do they want from us? War reps? Well, they're not going to land us, so we'll probably be able to wipe peace here. This is a bit unfortunate. We should have conscripted before we started this. Just kind of losing a lot of guys here. Maybe we wipe peace here. Not our finest hour, but, no, wait. We're not going to give them war reps. The hell? Oh, why can they enforce on us? They don't have any of our... Oh, they do have some of our land. This is a bit awkward. Awkward. So we can either take the load, or we can just take the thing. I think we want this opening steps to be a bit more explosive, so we are going to take the load from right before they put this in, but this is not our finest hour. 45, is that even... Did we even save before this? Yeah, we did. Okay. So 45 sounds correct. Awkward. We should have conscripted. I knew our army was way stronger than theirs. I didn't look at how many conscripts they had. Got a little bit of ahead of myself. Trying to play fast here on speed 5. Apologies to everyone who loves the perfect play. But we're not quite going to get that here. I think we could still win this battle, right? We could still take Kalat. It's not even that resource dense, though. Let's just conquer, like, Bulungan or something instead. Which will eventually have oil. And if you put in both the conquers, they don't back down, so this is great. Recognition of accomplishment, industrialist, let's go, baby. So, you saw nothing. We get empiricism unlocked, and so we'll come in here and we will make our choice again to go banking into egalitarianism, so we can just go straight for proportional taxation, because we didn't even go per capita. And then we'll probably come back to the mining tech here, or we're going to go railways into water tube boiler, I think. Because by then, I think we'll need railways, something like this, for the infrastructure problems. Now, we cannot activate this quite yet, because we need this, which is, again, pretty awkward. We'll put it above there. Gold mines will be pretty good, and of course we need to swap over the PMs on the gold mines. We get landed voting, huzzah. We get some new parties up in this bizzle. Notably, weird to not see these guys in the same party, but okay. You do you, boo. And after this, we will start decapping kind of the power of there, which is going to help quite a bit. We need the landowners to be weak in order to go proportional taxation. And we might even try and go wealth voting relatively early after this, because they didn't care about the swap from this to this. Actually, is this going to radicalize them? It's not going to radicalize them, but it's going to make them mad. We do want to get off of state religion. So what? Why did our guy get unassigned from the front, man? So annoying. I hate how buggy this is sometimes. Alright, we of course are ramping up a bit, so we're going to increase construction. This coal mine, let's add another coal. Coal's pretty expensive. We are going to enforce on them either way. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Not like Kalat. That wasn't fine. That was really not fine. No beer, no vote. Well, we hate the Conservative Party, so yeah. Do we have a front yet? No, but we're super close. So maybe it's better we didn't incur this infamy anyways. We'll use our handy-dandy slappy-wappy button, of course. State actions, reset PMs. And we'll come in here and make sure that that didn't mess everything up. We'll go to slaughterhouses as well, which you get with mechanical tools, and I always forget you get with mechanical tools, and it's a good one. We don't have the thing finished. We can go sulfite pumping on the paper mills. I forgot about this. Oop, these have been built. We will need to import silk. We'll import it from China, with whom we have an adjacency because, again, Landfang is part of their market, which is quite nice. Credit where credit's due. It's due to the industrialists. Let's continue. Actually, let's reform the government. What? So it looks like the Conservatives won. Looks like we're pretty legitimate as is, but we can't really try and switch to something else. So maybe we go wealth voting for the next election and just kind of otherwise mainly chill. A lot of people will support this. This won't radicalize the landowners, though. And maybe we really care about getting on proportional taxation, so maybe we do this government with the idea that we can go proportional taxation next. Or soon. Ish. I guess it's not that soon. Rip the dream. We should have kept our other government. We're going to swap it back, actually. It's going to create some radicals. We're not going to like it. We're actually going to do this. It's not going to be legitimate, but it's not very legitimate either way. And we're going to try and go for wealth voting. Skirmish infantry, nice. I guess we can swap to that, actually. Let's come in here. Because we just won't fight in the near future. We of course will run a shortage and we'll just import it. We'll import it from France, whom we have a trade agreement with. Floating a pretty big negative authority, so we're gonna come in, we're gonna ditch one of these consumption taxes. Which kind of juices up the thing. Consequences. We are starting to get the SO up quite a bit as we run ourselves out of peasants a little bit. We're like 200k like more gainfully employed since we last checked. Of course, we also have acquired more peasants by acquiring more territory. Let's check our infamy. Kind of want to get this in. Is that not going to give us an adjacency? Terrible. So maybe we take a save and we go for Sulu now. The classic conquer all of Borneo start. You'll love to see it. And of course, when they start out fearful, but if you put in all of their territory, they will always go to war because they hate being full annexed, but you really should have to get this as primaries, so I think this is kind of a bug, but we're just going to put our guy over here, and we're going to comfortably go there, and then we're going to need to land the cap, and then bada bing, bada boom. Okay, we got 50 construction here, so we're a third of the way to the construction goal, which is pretty nice. We have wealth voting. Big happy. That was a really nice, easy pass. Let's see if we can get off state religion. We'd prefer freedom of conscience. I don't think there's a way to put the Liberal Party in government and have it be legitimate, which is kind of the big thing, but I think we go to freedom of conscience and try and kneecap a little bit the religious group. Everyone's building tools, much excite. We will swap these over to steel tools now that our steel thing has finished, which will manage to employ all these boyos. And then I think we'll just swap everything to steel. And then I think we do want to prioritize some amount of sulfur, which of course we have here. So we're going to come in and we're going to put over the PMs. And then once the sulfur finishes, we will get the paper up to sulfide pulp pressing. That's a tongue twister. Sulfide pulping, or sulfide pulp pressing? What was the one of there's one that's like really tough to say. Now these are gas, these are market. Okay. The canvas of ideas, you're telling me. We gotta import some paper because we didn't manage things. And we really don't need to import the paper, but we're just gonna import it, and then we're gonna stop importing it. Which is, like, annoying. Just to save ourselves a little bit of... I kinda hate that event, to be honest. You get it with steel as well. Unfortunately, some of the textile mills are building here, which is big nice. It's kind of where we would prefer to have them. Russia's improving relations. Happy day. Let's take a look and see if we can join any customs union. We can offer them an obligation. We can join France's. Now, we are not quite... We want to wait until our average SOL is higher than theirs. What is their average SOL? Theirs is 10.9. So once we can siphon off pops, this is, by the way, why we have passed very early cultural exclusion. That way we can siphon off European pops, which is what we will do. Big movement for freedom of conscience here. Charming arrest the man, or... arrest him. Martyr time. And we get all Borneo. We will come in, use our slappy wappy button. And notably, this is kind of helping us on the dyes front, as well as, you know, some arable land front. We're going to reset the PMs there. We're going to take a look over here, because we want... we want Futa Jallon. Just give it to us. Okay, so Nejd is going to be the next logical choice. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to go in very soon on the other thing. So we're going to just take a look at what the Conquer State is going to cost. It's going to cost about 11, so we can afford that. We're going to take a save, and then we're going to try and conquer Nejd as well. Nejd has, I think... So I think in Nejd here, it's 60 oil, and I don't know how much appears in hail, if any. Don't recall that off the top of my head. Top of my head. But by taking Nejd, we can set ourselves up much better for the future when oil appears there. And we're just going to go conquer state, so we don't have any subjects, so we can still join customs unions. We don't want to join France's yet, but we will probably want to in the near future. And we will want to kind of massage this up a little bit more, I think. Russia sides with Nejd, so this is exactly what we don't want. Actually, let's just double check. Yeah, we don't want that. We would do anything for love, but we won't do that. I mean, by love I mean oil, of course. Because we cannot fight Russia. So I guess we're in chill mode then. And also, let's take a look. I really hate that they can be genial and then they just join against you, but we're going to improve relations with them, I guess, and try and avoid more of that, I suppose. I don't know. We've kind of finished a lot of the really good expansions here. Siak and Eche are also good. Someone reminded me how to pronounce that. I always forget. Or someone told me. Told, reminded. Same thing-ish. We are having a little bit of a rev. This isn't going to pop off. Notably, all of the military is also in the capital, so there's all that jazz. SOL is starting to climb. We are almost at the point where we want to be joining a market for purposes of migration. And we really do love the auto expansion on those things. Let's take a look at infrastructure. We haven't looked at it yet. We're still doing okay-ish, but these railroads are going to be nice. after egalitarianism. They're not, yeah, they're gonna be nice. We could take the bureaucracy hit. Gold rush, mine, it's all mine. This gold, we are actually getting a pretty good amount from minting here, and a pretty good amount of that is like 3.4k. Notice it is coming from gold fields, so this is going to be big. We get a Serbian succession. Serb. Wait, what? Oh, is that this? Yeah, that's that. Okay, that makes sense. That tracks. Fair enough. We are going to want to keep upping construction as much as we can. We'll just need to land them. That'll be fine. Hopefully they don't do anything too psychotic in terms of deleting or building buildings. We're going to add a construction center here. I think we can kind of afford it. Perhaps not. We're going to come in the trades as well. I think we're going to try and import a little bit more of anything that is kind of oriented like this. Let's import that from Persia. That'll be nice. And let's import some of this. Let's import it from... We kind of would rather not use convoys. Let's import it from Russia, I guess. Sort by productivity. Nejd, we don't care as much about trying to get Nejd on board with us. But once we get into the customs union, this will really help for us to specifically specialize even more. Because right now our AutoQ is going to build a lot of these other stuff, but that's going to be less the case if we're inside someone's customs union. So they pop off. You do you, fam. We're going to land them. Being on skirmish infantry is pretty nice. You're automatically... Okay. We see that we are floating near amount of authority, so we're going to come up this... We're near 100. We're going to add the consumption tax, and we're going to go back down. Making a decent amount of money. Unfortunately, we hit this labyrinth system. I think we're going to come off of this for now. And we're going to take a look and see what other laws we can pass that might be useful here. We're going to very soon be going to proportional taxation, which is one of the reasons we swapped to wealth voting to kind of kneecap the landowners here. We don't want to make the landowners too pissed, though, because we don't want them to rev. We could go religious schools. This is not very good. We don't want to go peasant levies because we don't want to make the landowners mad right before we... Yeah, so I think it might be chill mode. Actually, it's laissez-faire time. That's what time it is. We're going to get more investment pool transfer. It's going to help out quite a lot. The investment pool is draining, so this will help it drain faster and us make more money, allow us to ramp up construction. Notably, so capitalists in your buildings will contribute 20% of their dividends, which is the weekly balance. They'll contribute that to the investment pool. When you go laissez-faire, it does a couple things. One of them, very importantly, is it increases this by 25%, but they don't take any more money from the capitalists. So you're effectively getting, you know, an extra, or yeah, you're getting an extra 25% on it, which is quite powerful. And so we will reset the PMs there. So this number, this 19, it won't be exactly 25% more, but it'll be like close to 25% more, which is a lot. 5k just kind of juice for free. Now the problem is the auto queue gets control of more of the queue, and so this is a downside, but it's not that big a downside. I think that... Wow, why do we have so many of this? Whatever, it's not a big deal. We don't even have that. Well, okay. We have a decent amount of ports. We're just quickly checking through the PMs. Why we did the sulfur thing. The furniture manufacturer is finished. We're going to swap them over to Laissez Precision Tools. Yep, that's not going to cut it. Laissez-faire will notably make our landowners very happy. In a perverted twist of things. We could try and go for Nejd again. I think we're just going to chill and just wait. And we have it here. Now we can go for Futa Jallon, which is what we have been waiting for this whole time. And we are just going to conquer state them because we can afford this infamy decay. I guess we should have saved beforehand, but YOLO. We're in October 25, so we'll just remember that in case we need to load. Hopefully, great powers, we're also going to want to make sure we are improving relations with France and Great Britain, whom we damage relations with by declaring a war in an area they have an interest. So just something to keep in mind. Give us liberty or give us railroads. One of the two. We're actually going to have both of the two in just a minute here. And by liberty, I mean proportional taxation. We will, we'll just kind of take the enactment chance here. We're going to quickly push through Futa Jallon. Now, we can also puppet these guys, but we need military access, so we could not dominion them. Unfortunately, we can't dominion anyone anyways, because we're unrecognized, but it is what it is. We have a movement to enact freedom of conscience. We would want freedom of conscience, but, yeah. I don't know. It is what it is regarding our inability to pass it earlier. We are cranking up a little bit. SOL is climbing. It's almost at the point. We are losing peasants, so we're almost out of peasants. Or, well, we only have 800k gainfully employed. We sent them to the mines, including the children, especially the children. The children belong in the mines. Let's increase this couple other notches. And we conquer Permian, whatever. We will put in here a motor industry as well. We're going to put it behind, we're going to put the iron mines behind that, and we're going to also put this behind that. Try and encourage that. We're going to hit our slappy wappy button on here. We notably can now declare an interest, so we will reset the PM here first, and then we can declare an interest because we now have a native interest. I said we have a native interest in Sengal. Why don't we have it? Oh, I guess because colonization is not finished. Whatever. Not a big deal. We're just going to keep in, we're going to save, and we're going to go for the next guy. And we are going for Eastern Mali so that we can build the Mosque of Jingoist, which gives 20% education access, which is going to be important, especially for this run, because we are not switching off of child labor, because the children belong in the mines. And so, as a consequence, we can't get the last 2 levels of education. We don't have any education yet, but the Monument to the Prince is going to be a worthy cause. Notably, also here in Sengal, you also get opium, which is kind of nice. We get Laissez, Faire, and boom, baby. Now, of course, whenever you're looking at how much money you're making, you have to do this number plus this number, because we're only like making 3k. But there should have been a very, very sharp uptick. Last time we checked the investment pool transfer, it was like 12k. Ooh, baby, look at that. That's what it's about there. More investment pool transfer means more construction, which is the point. I think we're going to add in a couple of construction centers there, and that'll be good. We're also going to increase this because we see that we are floating quite a bit, and we're going to put in another consumption tax, and then we're going to decrease this. And so we can afford quite a bit more construction. We are well on our way. Now, once we get egalitarianism, then that's when the fun begins. So hopefully we can get proportional taxation. This, of course, is going to be a long starting steps episode, by the way, in case you weren't aware, because I think this is going to be the only episode we play here. But we want to kind of have a really strong, like, place in terms of what we're doing. And we have railroads. Looks like it was natural spreading to us then, which is fantastic for us. Let's construct a railway in Ural. Up there, I think we'll construct a port. Looks like maybe we just focus Ural for now. AutoQ will build other stuff. We're going to get branching out and some other journal entries we can potentially do. And we are about to get egalitarianism, which is why we're waiting on the laws, because we are going to go for proportional taxation, which is going to pay us more. It's not going to quite match this tooltip. The tooltip's going to be off by a little bit, because as you increase taxes, you decrease consumption, which decreases profitability of buildings, etc. But it is going to be good. So we are going to go for proportional taxation. Now, it is notably supported by the army, who's in government, and that's kind of it. Can we take these guys out? We don't want these guys kind of thumbing what we're doing, so we're going to take them out for now, which is going to make them a little bit upset. Man, it makes them really upset now. Much more than it used to. Oh, well, that's also us trying to pass the law. That's us trying to pass the law that makes them upset. But now that they're outside, they won't interfere as much with what we're trying to do. We will hit it with our handy-dandy wacky-smacky button. And now... Now, can we declare a new interest? Do we have a native interest in Sengal? Yes, we do. And we will also want to build up the Navy to around level 10 in the near future. maybe a little bit higher. I think 11 or 12 is actually kind of the sweet spot for being able to take Zulu, because this is going to be our next area of ingress. But I think for now we actually have to let the infamy decay. Ooh, we don't really. So we're going to take a save, and we're going to go for Sengal. Now, I'm a little tempted to vassalize them, but we do want to join someone's market, and we can't join someone's market while we have a subject. So we're just going to conquer Western Mali here. And we are pushing for the Mosque of Jinneh. I guess we want this before we get the railway, huh? Liberia's improving relations. We will make sure we're damaging relations. Or actually, the relations are already bad enough. Great Britain sides with... Really? Come on, my guy. We don't mind giving them the Guinea Treaty Port, I think. So what the treaty port does is it allows them to access our market without tariffs, but we're on free trade anyways. It's really not that big a deal. So we'll just go for it. They will be able to push us from the rear, but I think we will be able to enforce first, and if we can't, we'll just take a load. Something like this. We are making money, but we're at a slight deficit, and it looks like we gotta nuke one of these consumption taxes, so we'll do that. I'm guessing we'll push through pretty quick here before we get pushed through. And we will be able to enforce, but we'll see if that is possible indeed. The name of the game is, can we enforce on them before they enforce on us? Crooked connections, you're telling me. We're gonna do it a little bit slower, just because we don't want the landowners to be super, super pissed. I think we can enforce on them? Maybe we can't. Oh, yikes, it looks like no. Well, that is a bit of a unfortunate thing. Yeah, so we're going to take a load. That's annoying. We really want to get the Mosque of Jinneh. That's unfortunate. We're just going to take our infamy decay for a little bit and look to revisit this in just a couple minutes. You know, once we've decayed our infamy a little bit. Stupid great powers, thumbs and pie. We really don't mind just giving them the treaty port is the most frustrating thing. If we have a trade agreement with them, maybe they won't do this to us. We're improving relations. We could try and join their customs union. This would also do it. We could offer them an obligation. How close are we to doing it without it? Pretty close. So we could just do a bigger volume of trade with them, I think. We, of course, got to get rid of this again. So why don't we try and export. Can we export you iron? No, you don't like it. Can we export you tools? No. Clothes? No. Can we import from you fabric? Ah, we can. Can we import from you grain? Ah, we can. Let's actually just look at what we need. Softwood. We make softwood super efficiently though, but tobacco, and I'm guessing any of its tea as well will also be... Nope, they're obsessed with tea, I forgot. So they won't do it. Opium? Yeah, baby, let's go. Liquor? Yeah, buddy. So this will also decrease our market from making this stuff. Dyes. Oh, dyes is usually a good one. Alright, so we're just dramatically increasing our trade volume with Great Britain with the hopes that they are less likely to thumb our pie, and we might join their customs union. We were thinking of joining France's. But if we get a trade agreement, we're going to take this one this time. If we get a trade agreement with them, which would be nice, this would allow us to... I don't think they try and get treaty ports on you if you have a trade agreement. Yikes, this is perhaps a little bit more than we can bear, but is this number plus this number, so I think we just have to let it smooth itself out. We will be in really good shape once we get proportional taxation. We are notably colonizing over here, which is good. They are genial now. We do... Oh, man. We don't mind giving them the treaty port that they want. It's not a big deal. And it's frustrating we can't just say... We can't just give them the treaty port for free. Would be really nice. So we're gonna do... Take this one and stop trying to pass this, which is a bit unfortunate. We could go for per capita taxation really easy, but once you're on per capita taxation, it's difficult to swap to proportional without a really strong base in terms of landowners. So, a little bit back to the drawing board. Can we make a legitimate government with the intelligentsia? Probably not. I mean, this is not nothing. Let's try and total SEP here. We'll promote this guy. And now we're making money, now we're losing money, and it's going to be the same as when it swaps from building 2 buildings or 1 building or 0 buildings or this type of thing. But I think overall we're at a rate where we're losing 2k. This is kind of an okay rate. It's just a little over the line, but we'll eventually build into it. So, this Rev gonna fire. We wouldn't mind fighting this Rev too much, because we have all the army at home. So, if it fires, it fires. It is what it is. Unfortunately, man, really would love to get the MOSQUE. We do have to find a war. We're going to take a save and we're going to try for it again. We need to find some sort of war, because if you're not using your infamy decay, you're losing it. And so we're going to come in and we're going to try and go for Sengal again, and we're going to conquer the state and see what we can do. It's a little bit risky because we have this whole revolution thing going right now, and maybe we should have not gone total separation. We should have done something else, but I think this is fine. Our buildings are getting more profitable. Let's see about getting a couple railways down in some spots. Actually, before we do all these naval bases. Why is that so long? Why do we have... Tessia, why is this... Why do you got so much turmoil? Oh, because you've just been getting bent over from low construction for a while? That is going to be very uncomfortable to solve, actually. We are going to need police to solve that. It looks like we're going to be able to enforce on them and then deal with our looking like an imminent revolution. This is unfortunate. We are going to need to go policing after this of some kind. We can afford this, though. Public dress goes awry. Yeah, well... I think we're just going to come off this then. And, because we kind of want policing anyways. And we are going to go... We want dedicated police force. Who can pass it? Armed forces or landowners. So we're just going to... Oh, these guys need to derev. We'll just do this. We'll try and do dedicated police force. Let's go, baby. So we're not going to get a rev. We're kind of on the cusp. We're like basically perfectly balanced as we should be. Water tube boiler is a huge one because now we can come up here and we are kind of approaching the point where we do want to join a customs union. We would like to join Great Britain's. But we're going to swap all these to condensing pump engine, which should make them absolutely pop off. And now we need to talk about, or think about what techs we want to do. And I think we go intensive agriculture into nitroglycerin because we're so mining based that this is going to be good. And then canneries into mechanical workshops. And then this will probably, by this end, we will kind of have achieved the goals for the run. Currently, the max throughput bonus is 21. And so we are kind of trending towards that pretty soon here anyways. See if we're paying subsidies. Nope, we're not. Not yet. We'll just conquer Eastern Mali here. Or that will be the plan. So we'll take a save, and we'll go for it again. Now we should be able to, or we already declared our interest. We already moved it down to South Africa. But we're just going to take a quick save and go for Eastern Mali here. And we are going to conquer Eastern Mali. It's a lot of infamy. We can afford it, but just kind of barely. Hopefully no one gets big pressed about that. But we will also delete all these barracks, which are... I didn't realize, but they are an expensive thing. And then we will use our handy dandy slappy wappy button to reset the PMs here in Western Mali. Massina declares a rivalry. You don't say. Now we should be pretty well on the money front. It looks like we're slowly making money. You have to do this number plus this number, depending on what exactly is going on, but we are adding more boats, so the boats will cost a bit of money. I think behind the boats we do want to add a little bit more army, but just a little bit. Just the tiniest of bits so that we can go in through Zulu once we kind of get everything all squared away. We are at high infamy right now, so we're not going to want to declare play with police. Something, something. We'll take this 20%. Yeah, baby. And let's see, can we join your custom? Can you just say yes, my guy? We can join France's. Great Britain would be a little bit better. We could join Russia. Russia's genial. I suppose we don't want to join a rival of Russia's customs union. Looks like they're just rivaling Sweden, though. Central banking is going to be big nice. We get urbanized Perm as a journal entry. This is coming up quite nicely. This is almost at kind of the threshold. The problem is Great Britain's SOL is actually a little bit higher. But I think that's okay. Yeah, it's 13. So we just have to crank up a little bit more. Just turn up. Let's see if we can export. Yeah, baby. Who can we export the most to? Let's start sending it the kebab, which notably 0 convoys off the back of this. This is the reason why we have 0 convoys there, which is fantastic. Big happy about that. We're going to delete the barracks there, though. And dedicated police force will hopefully kind of blunt some of the problems we're having with turmoil up here. I'm not sure we'll increase the institution. Let's actually just increase it 1 notch. Looks like we can try again now for proportional taxation. We're going to keep the landowners out of government, so they try not to thumb our pie, and try and get on to proportional taxation, which will be big ups once we get it. We conquer Eastern Mali, we're making big money. Money moves, that is. We're going to use our handy-dandy slappy-wappy button. We're going to come in here, and now we will show you what it's all about after deleting these barracks. The Mosque of Jingoist is what this whole thing is about, which gives increased education access. We're just going to pop it to the front of the queue. It will take a really long time. There is a big malus on construction here, unfortunately. In fact, we will... now we'll let that one in Eastern Mali finish, but this is going to be our construction queue for a little while, just to hit the 20% thing. I think we will actually juice up construction a couple notches, though, before this. So we'll go here and here, I suppose. And then how much infrastructure do you have? Almost none. You're going to need it pretty bad. We're actually going to kick you up to the top of the railroad. You were the really bad state construction efficiency, but now it's multiplied by negative 15%. Now it's not so bad. It is still pretty bad, though. We're actually going to put the construction center ahead of this and the mosque ahead of that. And yeah, let's actually knock this down a couple notches and do this. That'll feel good. Can we get 1 lucky proportional taxation thing? Okay, thanks. That'd be fantastic. 75 construction, so we're halfway there, and we get the proportional taxation. Oh, baby. Now watch this pop off. Let's go. Let's go, let's go. And let's see about joining Great Britain's market now. Nope, they don't want it. France will take it. I mean, so will Russia, though. But Russia does stuff that we don't like too much. But we mainly need to do this in order to facilitate migration. Trade agreement with Russia is fantastic. I mean, maybe we could just stay independent, but, like, again, it's mainly so we can siphon off their pops. That's the main goal here. But if we just took... Yeah, this is just going to be a temporary thing. This is not a long-term thing. But we can get a trade agreement with Great Britain. Maybe once they say yes, they'll say yes to the customs union. Come on, let's go. Let's go. One time. No. Damn, damn, damn. Alright, let's check. We're not above their SOL yet, so we don't need it yet. But we will need it soon. Let's take a look at reforming the government. We, of course, don't want to put the landowners in while we... Oh, we did pass the law we wanted, because we got proportional taxation on the first tick. Let's go. Okay, in that case, we do want to put the intelligentsia in government if we can. Can we do this? And these need to join the free trade party. Well, I guess we'll do this. Shocked that that's legitimate. And then we'll go total separation. Can we go this without radicalizing them? Yeah, let's go freedom of conscience first. Let's just leapfrog it. Look to go a little bit slower. And now, with this, gotten off the back of proportional taxation, we get to crank up. It's time to turn up. Let's go, baby. We'll just crank this to 5. This to 8. This is still revving you? I think we only take 1 tick of this. If this is going to rev them anyways, we might just want to do something else. I guess we'll take this. We would like to kneecap the landowners, but we'll just keep them a little bit happy for now. Construction is coming up, way up. And then, this is driving up the demand for iron, which is going to become more profitable, so we're going to put some of this in the queue. We're going to get this to level 21, and then we're going to start working on this one. Because right now, 21's the max throughput bonus. Intensive agriculture is coming on up. I mean, I guess we're going nitroglycerin. Can we build the chemical plants yet? No, that's intensive agriculture. We get freedom of conscience. Hell yeah, brother. We're gonna come in, and the big thing about freedom of conscience is it allows you to, well, it allows you to do a bunch of different PMs, but it also allows you to switch these over, which is big nice. We're gonna take a look. Are we paying subsidies? We are. We're gonna go in the rural areas, and we're gonna start turning on PMs, focusing on the luxuries first. And this will be it'll increase the demand for transportation, which will decrease the subsidy, conditionally based on a few things, but it usually does, and that's what we see there. They want to restore it, but no dice. Now we can do whatever school we want. We will do public schools. So we're going to have a ton of education access, especially once we finish this. Now, what is your problem? Oh, that's your problem. Okay, fair enough. How big is our problem with that? Let's take a quick look. How much are we overusing? Well, I don't see transportation here, but we could use some more import of this. I guess we'll take the Austrians. Again, 0 convoys because of that one little building we got. We got an adjacency to France somewhere in here too, which is pretty nice. I think we will actually start colonizing Kenya. We should have done this a while ago. This is what we should have done instead of declaring an interest down here, but unfortunate. Okay, let's recruit a general. Oh, not a general, an admiral, but we see the Indonesia HQ does have some guys, so we're gonna get rid of those. Yikes. Oh, we can't because there's Revolution Bridge. Sure, fair enough. We will colonize Kenya now. And things are looking up, and let's try and, let's do this. We're not going to be able to get the other guys happy. And we're making a ton of money. Again, this is from proportional taxation, so we'll add a little bit more to construction as well here. Coming up to 100, and then we're going to need some of this. Mosque of Jingoist is coming up, public schools is coming up. Everything's coming on up. We are running a huge negative authority, so we're going to come up and we're going to do this. We get public schools, which is big nice as well. Let's take a look. We do eventually want to go rights of assembly. I'm a little bit leery about pissing off the landowners a little bit more, because that will force a rev. And we could just rev away, but we could also just wait. We are on wealth voting. They're going to get kneecapped eventually. Oh, this will radicalize. Well, maybe we just radicalize them. Fight the revolution. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go elect these bureaucrats then. They'll join this state religion nonsense, and then we'll have a rev. We'll have a good old-fashioned row, which will be pretty quick. We are decaying the infamy. Let's actually, what we needed was a navy. Let's recruit an admiral. And I lied about this Diplo interest thing. We're actually, ooh, we have a second interest. We're going to put the second one down here, and we're going to go for Zulu with this little 12 stack or whatever. Brush the sides with Egypt. Now, where did our extra military go? I mean, where is it in the queue? Let's put it at the front. Okay, we have the interest activated, and we are just going to annex Sulu here. And we are going for Transvaal and Oranhe because they have a ton of gold and stuff. Oh no, they have good relations. We're going to make sure to damage relations with everyone. But unfortunately, if they're improving relations with us, there's no way for us to make the relations negative, which they are, other than expelling the diplomats, which we will. Which will incur a bit of infamy. We're now at 15 infamy, and so what we can do next is going to be conquer state them, and so that's going to kick us over 25, so we don't want to do that. Chem plants are unlocked, notably here, and so we will build a few here and put them on auto expand because we want to get ready for when the dynamite comes in. In fact, maybe we... No, we're going to go nitroglycerin immediately, but just because we're so mine-oriented at this point in the game, we are, you know, we have some tooling workshops, but that's not the focus here. Standard of living is starting to climb up a little bit. Let's take a look at, maybe we can get it higher. So if we can get cheap clothes... Actually, they're going to have cheap clothes in France's market, right? Or cheaper clothes, cheaper furniture. I think if we join, our SOL will actually be higher than France's. So let's join their customs union. I think we'll be able to start sapping off pops once we're in. They accept our request. And, yikes. I think we're coming off of this then. And then we will try... something that is going to piss off the landowners, because we don't really mind revving anyways. We could go total separation. The DoW are already super pissed at us. Let's just do this anyways. We're not going to rev them more. I'm guessing our SOL climbs... Yeah, our SOL climbs up instantly because we have access to the cheaper consumer goods from the French market. We're not quite at their level, so we're not going to siphon off pops yet, but we're going to get there soon. I think this will continue to climb, which will be good. Because it's climbing, not because we're paying more wages, but because we have access to cheaper goods, because we are specializing here in the mines. And that's going to be good for us. We are cranking up, so we're going to add even more construction. Oh, did we save? Oh, no, wait. We wanted to go for Zululand, but we got to wait for the infamy to decay a little bit. That's what happened. Because we had to damage relations with them. We're damaging relations with all of them. Cross-border investment. Hell yeah, brother. We will take it with strong armament and take it ourselves. And now we are maxing out the throughput bonus here, which is absolutely huge. We got 20% from economies of scale, 20% from the Ural mountain range, and 20% from encouraged resources. So each one of these buildings are putting 20% the normal and inputting 20% the goods, but not 20% the labor. So it's even better than 20% more of a building. Yeah, we just have a ton of infamy, so we don't need to worry about expansion. This is starting to crank up. This is even before... here's the MOSQUE of Jingoist. Take a look. 22% education access is 20% flat, modified by Colonial Exploitation law, which is fantastic. We are also colonizing down in Kenya, so we don't want to put down another colony. It looks like... Ooh. Congo, did they change your color, my guy? What happened? They're in the French market. Interesting. But we're popping off now. Let's see about increasing some of our institutions, because we don't need to pay as much for bureaucracy. Like the increasing the education. We're going to have a huge amount of education access. This will fly up. This is doing really good shape too. The chem plants are on their way. Oop, I guess we forgot to swap all this over. Not that we have a ton of this industry, but this is going to be nice. Well, we actually have a ton of that, so... that is going to be good. And we get this. We have total separation. I think we are going to want to slowly swap over onto some of the labor-saving PMs. Let's swap over here onto water tube boiler. We get total separation. And now what? I guess we go for elected bureaucrats again. Do we have insufficient tax capacity anywhere? We do not. This revolution is a brewing. It's a big brewing. We're not quite at 150 construction though, which is one of the main goals. We do have this, so we gotta get rid of some of this. Looks like, I'm guessing a politician died. Yeah, so we're maybe in for a bumpy road here in just a second, but we do have a little bit of money saved up. The Falubi succession is unfortunately gonna fire. We're gonna have to land them. That's unfortunate. Breeding and education. That sounds like a good time. We're not gonna take the authority hit. We're just gonna do that. Yeah, we are up to the max economies of scale throughput bonus here for now. We're looking to pursue it here. Just focusing on the iron. What the children yearn for, the mines. Looks like this kind of solved itself. So, okay, we're probably going to increase construction again soon then. Get elected bureaucrats. Hell yeah, brother. Which is not good at this point in the game, but it'll be good long term. This will surely cause a revolution, right? I guess we'll just chill and then do that in a little bit. Also getting off the peasant levies will be good. Ooh, it's just the landowners? Ooh, actually, national militia. We don't want that. We want professional army. Fractional distillation. I don't even know if we have a food industry. Well, I guess we do. We'll also swap on sweeteners. Yikes. Didn't swap that on initially. We, of course, have to land. Navally invade. And after this, we'll look for Zululand. Making some money, I think? Do we have insufficient tax capacity anywhere? No, we do not. We have 2 battalions in reserve. We can't delete them is the problem. We'll add a government administration. And I think a little bit more construction here. And of course, we'll solve that railway problem. We do want to be using the wooden railroads where we can, though. I think we have extra infrastructure here, so we're going to use wooden. Well, we want them to get less popularity, so... Oh, I think that was applying to that guy. We're just going to push in through here. Gonna have to swap everything over. We lost a bunch of industries, but we're overall still making money. It's this number plus this number, and we're approaching the 150 construction that was promised. Gonna need a lot of probably. How much are we paying for subsidies? A little bit. So why don't we turn on a couple more of. Oop, let's delete these, because we're not experiencing a rev anymore, and we can. And we'll use the slappy wappy button to reset the PMs. I think well, let's reset here, and then I think we have to come in manually and fix. And then we will come in as well and start switching stuff over to rail transportation to try and decrease the subsidies a little bit. I think we'll put all opium on auto expand. We're pretty okay with that. Defense impact from France might not be terrible. We want to be a little bit wary because they have a rivalry with Great Britain. Great Britain's more spooky than France is, so we're already risking it to get the biscuit cozying up with France, but we should be siphoning off pops from them at this point now. Our standard of living is a little bit higher than theirs, and we accept their pops, so we should have a decent amount of Frenchies. So let's take a look. So we're mainly Russian, and then we have a bunch of this other stuff. Ugrian, Serbian, Finnish, Tardar, and here we have a bit of French coming in. And it's going up, as you can see. I said it's going up. Why are you going down after I said it's going up? Cross-border investments. Why you do this to me? Make me look silly. We do accept the French pops, though. I think it's the important thing to note, so we can get them to migrate pretty easily, because we're accepting them. And now they're higher than when we looked before. And now they're going up. Look at that. Now they're cranking. Oh. As soon as I say they're going up, they start going down. Hey, they're going up. Oh. Terrible. Okay. So we are just continuing along our way here. Let's find the smooth bores. Yeah, let's go, baby. We're going to add a little bit more construction. Of course, we're making the construction cheap while we're trying to push economies of scale bonus on, you know, on the mines. It's perfect. We're going to take a look. We barely have enough infrastructure. We do have one other one coming in. I think we'll add another one at the front. Gold discovered in Guyana is nice. Oh, let's take a save here and let's go for Zulu now. They have a decent amount of coal as well, on top of giving us access to Transvaal and Orange, which is the main reason we're doing this. We gotta get better about making sure we have bad relations with these guys, though. Oh, he's a beaut. I think we'll look to get a nice even number here. We're gonna also check to see that they didn't build any barracks. They didn't. Pretty close to the 150 construction here. We're also researching nitroglycerin, which is nice. Big nice. We already have a couple of these chem plants built. We will swap this over to ammonia soda process, and then we will turn on this for the nitroglycerin. Now, it is going to use quite a bit of boom booms, so we can't quite... I don't think we can afford to turn on another thing. Oh, this got to employ... Oh, wait, this is in France's market. We're fine. We're just going to swap a bunch of stuff up. And look at that. So much output. So early in the game. Bless our souls. We will take a naval invasion all the way over here. So this is fantastic. We're almost at the point where we want to be with the 150 construction. We have currently maxed out the throughput bonus. We didn't have quite, or we'll actually max this one out as well. We're not yet on we are currently working our way towards the throughput bonus here on mechanized workshops, but now we can be even a little bit more specialized now that we're in the French market, because they help smooth out our the demand for stuff. Let's just do this. Stimmy the economy a little bit. Look at that crank up. Boost the industries further, please. This is not the best place to encourage manufacturing, but it's the place we got right now. Now, what is causing the turmoil? Radical pops. What are we getting radicalism from? Standard of living? We're not discriminating a lot. It's probably just SOL. Yeah, we're pulling that up, though. And we're also notably attracting migrants, too. So these guys should take care of it soon, but maybe we just kind of underestimated how much police force we could use. So let's up that a little bit. And in the back of the queue, actually we'll check and see if we have insufficient tax capacity anywhere. We don't, so we'll just build another one of these in the back of the queue. And maybe look to do something else as well. We get our nice little landing here with our 15 stack with the 12 Navy. Big nice. We'll be going into Transvaal next. We'll take a look at our infamy. Respectable, of course. We'll hit our slappy wappy butt. Not exactly the place I would want the uni, but I don't hate the uni, so... I'm going to take a save, and we're going to go after Transvaal. Or we're going to actually check which one of these boyos has more gold, and we're going to go after that one. Orange is probably actually a little bit better to go for first, but Orange, the other one's better overall. So 10 gold fields and 6 available gold mines. I think Orange takes the cake. So we're just going to conquer them. Straight up. That's going to give us 17 infamy. That's going to bring us up to the next notch, so we can't do that quite yet. They're trying to improve relations. We're damaging relations. And I think... How are we doing on the money? We're making money overall, so we're going to add a couple more construction centers, and I think we will have accomplished the goals for the run. The children, the YEARN. They yearn for one thing, the mines, and we are sending them there. So this is perfect. We're at 21, which is the max economies of scale throughput bonus. We're almost at 21 here. Don't have enough people to employ, but that's not our problem, is it? That is our problem. Shoot. We are notably getting some migration. Let's actually take a look at the migration attraction. It's medium. It's not the best. It's not the worst. We're actually losing pops. Are they migrating to France? Damn it. They might be migrating to France. Which is one of the dangers of joining someone's customs union. But we have jobs. Let's take a look. Available employment is giving a little bit extra. Ah, we are at unrecognized regional power. I forgot the unrecognized Malus. Okay, this is fine though. Well, it's kind of fine. It actually makes joining the market a little bit worse, but I still think overall it's worth it. We'll have to pull up a little bit more before we can really take off. Alright, now we can do this war, I think. Austria is domineering, that's terrible. We'll conquer here. And we will maybe look to... I think it would probably just be an hour or so ahead of, or away from here on speed 5 that we would be leaving the French market. But for now, we're just going to keep kind of playing small ball with them. We will make sure we're improving relations with Great Britain because they always stick the finger in the pie. We're at 150 here. And we have a plan, so what we're doing. So I think we're going to conclude this and call this a good start for Perm. Let's just kind of quickly run through it. We joined a customs union with a relatively high SOL with the intention of siphoning off pops, and we're siphoning off a few pops, but we're also losing some pops, and this is because we have the 25% unrecognized power modifier, which when I wrote this strategy up, I had forgotten that these guys are unrecognized. We are getting some migration though, and another thing that we can do to help push this up, for example, is we can make the intelligentsia happy, which we will be with kind of subsequent laws. And so once we get the intelligentsia happy, this customs union business I think will be good. I think it'll be good for a little bit, probably till we get to about 10 million 12 million, 15 million pops, but maybe a little bit longer. Notably, when you get them up to their big bonus, you get the 25% migration attraction, which will offset the other one. We can try and get that by switching like the voting system. Parliamentary Republic, I think, would make them quite happy. So actually, we can just swap that up right now and just kind of take a look. And they should be plus 10 happy, and if they get above 20% clout, which they are likely to do, then it'll be 50% migration. And so this is kind of going to be the way forward in terms of the migration. Now we see the attraction is now a bit higher, and will drive migrants in. So now we are offsetting this. So that's kind of thing one we did. We also got to 150 construction. This is pretty much the basis of any sort of attempt to like start a game. You really want to crank up the construction. We also got the maximum level of throughput, or we are approaching it, on our iron mines, and we did more iron mine focused stuff. We exported specifically. This was actually quite nice for keeping the iron prices low for our construction very, very consistently, as opposed to, you know, the more tool focused. Both of these are giving you privately owned capitalists, so they both seem like fair strategies, and we just at different periods of the game actually actively exported iron in order to increase the demand for iron, so this seems fine. I still think it's probably not as good as tools, but it's memes, the children, the mines. Okay, we also did a lot of overseas expansion with some various things. We went through Borneo. There's oil on this side, there's gold on this side. It's very good to get early. It was very helpful early because we discovered some gold fields early. Notably, by going this tech, nitroglycerin, we get extra resource discovery chance, which is going to make this gold here even better, as well as this gold here even better. And so our expansion, we took Bahrain, which gave us a native interest here. We tried to take Nej, but the Great Power said no. And we also took this, which kind of helped us out early on to have trade routes that require no convoys with both the Ottomans and Austria. So I think this is a little bit of an underrated spot to take. So this was good. We also specifically pushed for the Mosque of Jingoist by colonizing in here first until we could start conquesting, and this is giving us 22% education access. If we take a look at the modifiers here, we have 32% education access with just a level 1. We should have 42% education access. Why can't they math? Did I read wrong? Why is this 32? We are getting a penalty from the devout being mad at us. Okay. Public schools per level? It's 10% per level. This is a bug, actually. Whatever. It should be higher. So, fair enough. We do have level 2 education. And we also notably in this episode used corn laws to very quickly reform all of this. If you're not aware of corn laws, it's one of the strongest things you could do. As far as, let's just talk about, this is going to be the only episode we run for this. We're not going to continue our run as Perm, but we will just talk about what else you can do. I think that, so first of all, as far as expansion goes, we're going Transvaal of Brunei next, and after this we will have to make a bit of an evaluation. I believe it will be useful to talk about kind of the technology route, because that relates to the expansion route. We're going to go for mechanized workshops for the extra 10% economies of scale cap, and we're going to push our minds to this. Then we will have almost all of this. So we will probably just go to shift work next, or sometime in the near future, to get the 51 economies of scale throughput bonus. And if we have the 51 economies of scale throughput bonus, and we can just come in here, we will have enormous throughput. We will have 50 plus 20 from the Ural mountain range, plus 20 from the encouraged resource industry for a 90% throughput bonus, which is going to be extremely good for as long as we're ramping up. Eventually, obviously, we can only expand the iron mines so high, and this will be kind of a period of falling off and transition, but this is something, this will be very strong up into then, just having very, very high throughput bonus. Let's take a look at the laws. Otherwise, I think that relatively soon we would try and want to push human rights as well. If we can get human rights and we can go multiculturalism, then we can solve our pop problem by taking a Chinese province. Just a single Chinese province will really solve the pop problem, and it will also allow better migration overall. And so this is kind of the main idea in terms of society tech, what we would want to go for. But there's some other stuff in here that's probably decent, like quinine relatively early. In fact, quinine next might be good. It is natural spreading to us, so maybe it just finishes before mechanized workshops, this type of stuff. We don't have too many administrations, we don't have that much pop, so central archives will be pretty medium. So we'll, the modern sewage, because we don't have a lot of pops as far as texts that are normally pretty good, but we could go for dialectics. Once we get around 300-400 construction, we will want to build unities, and having philosophy department will be good. And so I think the idea is focus on the production tech a little bit, let some of these not so good tier 2 techs spread, but maybe we go for this. I'm not sure exactly what the best strategy is here, but these are just some ideas. As far as expansion goes, once you get multiculturalism, taking some high pop provinces will be really good, but until then, it's going to be mainly taking higher resource provinces, I think. As a general strategy, these two are going to be great, but after this, where else? We would want to go for Nejd, also Jabal Shamar. These ones could maybe do something against the Dutch East Indies. Could go for Aceh and Siak. Also, Kalat is available. Kalat into Afghanistan. This will give access to more opium, this sort of stuff. We have secured most of the border here with Kenya, and so we would be able to colonize faster here for more resources as well. This will be helpful. Argentina and Chile are generally good puppets to make early on, and they will give a lot of pop later on as they pull a lot of migration, and there's a lot of resources there. So this is some ideas for expansion. Venezuela also okay. Releasing Iraq and taking Iraq is decent, or taking some of these states. They have a lot of oil, this sort of thing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm stuff. If you have, if you didn't enjoy, something you can do is next time you see one of my videos, click the triple dot and click don't show stuff from this viewer. I hope this is not the case, but you can always do this if you've been sitting a long time. So if you've watched this cover to cover, I would also suggest getting up and moving around a little bit. It'll make you feel better, and it's something that's just generally underrated. And have a good one. Bye-bye.